Coming up on this episode of Latinas, we'll celebrate spooky season and so much more. Latinas starts now. Welcome to Latinas, the only Emmy-nominated show that's all about nosotras, created by nosotras, and I'm Tinabeth Piña. It's October, so of course we went to one of the few places that celebrates Halloween all year long, the Haunted House of Hamburgers on Long Island, and we'll learn more about this distinctive place later in the show. But first, let's talk about something a little creepy when it comes to Latino folklore. You've probably heard about it, the wails of La Llorona, as a spooky bedtime story. But behind the ghostly cries is a centuries-old legend. Correspondent Isabel Ortiz takes us deep into the story of the Weeping Woman.
The haunting cries of La Llorona have echoed across Latin America for centuries. The story begins with a mother who, in a fit of grief and rage, drowns her children. But behind the ghostly wails lies something deeper. To uncover the roots and meaning of this enduring legend, I spoke with Dr. Sara Hinojos, a CUNY Queens College professor and expert in Chicana and Chicano studies.
People say that she's connected with a Mexica goddess named Cihualcoatl, the mother of childbirth and a goddess that used to weep. There's also some origins that are related to her that people think that she is connected to La Malinche, another indigenous woman that after Cortés leaves what we now know as Mexico, that she becomes La Llorona because she's so sad, right, that her lover, conqueror, rapist leaves. But there's also this part of her where she actually doesn't have children. But she's this very sexy, seductress woman that appears to men who are drunk or wanting to take advantage of a woman sexually. And so when he gets close to her, she reveals her face, and she's like this skeletal, kind of half-human, decomposed.
La Llorona has become a figure in horror. Cinematic depictions capture her haunting presence, but only show one side of a much larger legend. When Hollywood adapts La Llorona into a monster, what do we lose about her cultural significance?
If there was a woman that once was La Llorona, and maybe she did lose her children, right? But maybe not because she killed them, but because of war or through colonization. And so her suffering is not honored, right? Her grief is not honored. We are taught to fear that, right? But part of living is death, and part of living is living through these harsh moments of grief and sorrows. And so we shouldn't be afraid of La Llorona, we should actually welcome her.
But La Llorona's cries don't just echo in pop culture. In recent years, artists and activists have reclaimed her story as a symbol of resistance.
So you have Juana Lisa, who's a muralist in San Francisco, California, and she painted this beautiful mural, right? La Llorona's Sacred Waters. And so she gave us a visual of who La Llorona is, right? And she's this indigenous woman, and she's crying, and she uses all these beautiful hues of blue related to the water. And I think with mothers and families losing children, either across the border, through migration, in cages, we're developing a new generation and continue to develop this generation of Lloronas.
La Llorona's wail has carried through generations. No longer just a cry of sorrow, but a voice of strength.
I think for our next generation, they should embrace wailing, right? Just like La Llorona does, she wails for her children, but we can wail for anything, right? Our pain, for injustice, for any type of loss that we might incur. And so she serves as this great role model, so we won't stay quiet during time of pain.
For Latinas, I'm Isabel Ortiz.
Another iconic figure of Mexican folklore is La Catrina, who's sometimes confused for La Llorona. While the wailing woman is mourning her drowned children, La Catrina is a satirical skeletal figure representing death during Dia de los Muertos. Interestingly enough, Mexico's most famous song that's played during the Dia de los Muertos celebrations is entitled La Llorona, which also adds to the confusion.
Llorona y el negro, pero cariñoso.
Now here's some scary info. According to a Pew Research Center report, Latinos hold 7% of all doctoral degrees, and of that amount, Latinas hold just 1%. A popular Facebook group founded by a Dominicana is looking to change those statistics, and correspondent and PhD student herself, Elena Romero, has the story.
It took Dr. Sofia Bautista Peltus a total of 21 years on and off to earn her PhD degree from Seton Hall University.
It took a while to work on it, but I finally did get it done because it felt like a service to my community. Like I was connecting to something bigger than me. The challenge for me was not the classes themselves. It was when I got to the dissertation stage. That's when it got a little dicey and a little tough. I ended up writing about how race, ethnicity, and gender impacted the career trajectory of Latinas in mid-level positions in higher education administration.
What felt like a lonely process inspired Dr. Peltus to start a blog in 2012. And that evolved into a Facebook group a year later.
It's been a group that not only have I found community in it, I found people who have gotten a lot out of the support system it's created, but it's become the place where when people are finishing or they get through their milestones, they'll come to the group with a picture, with a story, with just sharing and celebrating together. It's also a place where people have commiserated together.
Her Facebook group has over 9,000 members to date, and Dr. Peltus attributes its success to word of mouth.
I would go to conferences and talk about it, and then I would just tell people, hey, if you need support or if you want to join this, I have a group, just join, it'll be great. And then little by little, people started telling each other about it. And another powerful thing that happened is that faculty started telling some of their students. It even showed up on a Harvard syllabus as an area of support. I was like, what? Then I started seeing the group named in dissertation acknowledgments where people said, thank you so much to Latinas completing doctor degrees. If it wasn't for this group, I would not have survived. I would not have finished. I would not have stayed motivated.
Maryland-based Boricua Kimberly Jones is one of many Latina followers who have benefited from joining the doctoral Facebook group 5 years ago.
This Facebook group has just been instrumental in my life. It's the first time that I actually see women who look like me getting degrees, getting doctoral degrees, and that changed my life because I finally saw that I could do this, that I can cross that stage. And again, it was because of this Facebook group.
The married mom of two says the online community has provided her with mentorship and guidance, as well as a built-in network for fellow Latina researchers.
And so that's what I've been using the Facebook group for, is really building a community within Latinas because we don't see ourselves in some of these leadership positions or in these educational academic degrees. And so this is an opportunity for us to see one another.
If you had a message to share with someone who is thinking of pursuing a PhD or a doctoral degree, what would you tell them?
I want to encourage others to really join this Facebook group. It just matters when we see ourselves across that stage.
For Latinas, I'm Elena Romero.
Did you know that young Latinas have historically had the highest suicide attempt rates among teenagers in the entire country? And for many Latina teens struggling with mental health, finding help can feel impossible. But one New York City program is changing that, offering not just support, but hope. Here's correspondent Anny Ruiz Huayamabe with that story.
In a small space filled with color, music, and conversation, Latina teens in New York City are finding something many of them thought they had lost: hope. Caterina, who didn't want to give her real name or show her face, remembers exactly how it felt to be a teenager.
Especially at managing my emotions and look for an outlet for any negative feelings that I was experiencing.
That's when she found Life is Precious, a suicide prevention program created just for Latina teens.
I have been in therapy for about a year, and we needed some alternatives to spend time instead of isolating myself.
Now, in her 20s and a psychologist, Caterina has come full circle, giving back to the program that once helped her heal.
When the staff that is providing you services looks like you and speaks the same language as you, it brings you closer. There is a cultural competency right there. So transitioning to this new role and working for Life is Precious now has been different in a way that now I get to inspire other people.
Life is Precious is a free after-school program run by the non-profit Commune Life. It supports Latina teens ages 12 to 17 across New York.
This program is started in 2008 because there was a rise of suicidal ideation amongst Latina teens, and so the then founder, Dr. Rosa Gil, knew that it was time to do something about it. And so this is a community-based program and evidence-based, and so our approach is a non-traditional approach. And so our goal is really to reduce suicidal ideation based on the programming. And so we focus on the youth, we focus on the family and the community at large.
It offers mental health support, tutoring, art, wellness activities, and perhaps most important, support for the whole family.
We can't work with the youth without working with the family at large, and so we do a lot of psychoeducational workshops, and then we also work with the community to not only add our program as a resource, but also educate them.
The program began as a direct response to CDC data showing that Latina teens had some of the highest suicide attempt rates in the country.
We know that it's really hard to articulate in words what they're feeling. They may be feeling isolated, and so our goal is really to teach them ways to communicate, and it may be nonverbal communication via the arts, via music, cooking, dancing.
In 2023 alone, nearly 2,000 New Yorkers lost their lives to suicide. Among youth ages 10 to 24, it remains the second leading cause of death, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention.
The most concerning part of this is Latina teens who have had attempts of suicide and required medical attention continues to increase. In 2019, we're at 3.4%, and now we're at 5.20%. So that's a 45% increase.
What began in the Bronx has now reached hundreds of girls and families while working to reduce the stigma around mental health in the Latino community.
But there's also cultural issues. Culture has many pros, but it also has many cons, right? Because we know that in our cultures, you know, they say lo que ella es malcriada, lo que quiere es atención. They don't have the coping mechanisms that they need to face everything that's happening in the world. If adults don't have that, how is a youth going to have that?
Each month, tens of thousands call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, a free 24 resource for anyone in emotional distress. And every day, Life is Precious proved what's possible when young people are seen, uplifted, and surrounded by love. For LATiNAS, Anny Ruiz Huayamabe.
So what's it like to be a Latina now in this day and age? 4 Baruch students are about to share all the ways they're stepping away from the expectations of their parents' generation on today's edition of Real Talk Sin Filtro.
Across Latin community, women are expected to do something, while male are expected to be like, oh no, I'm the man, I don't have to learn how to cook, how to clean, all of that. I think it's similar in all Latin community.
Yeah, I feel like there's like such pressure, and like if you don't know how to do specific things like in the house, house-wise.
Yeah, they
chores.
cook, they clean, they did
So
everything.
it's like, oh, si tú no sabes cocinar esto, ¿cómo tú te vas a casar? That's not like the main, like, you know.
I want to piggyback off of that. In my house, there's no boys, except for my dad. But the pressure that I did feel was from my grandma. She would say like, oh, you need to learn how to do chores. You need to learn how to mop the house since we were little. And something she would always highlight is how my mom learned how to do all those things while she was little. And my mom also has a little brother that she, like me, used to take care of when she was my age. And they would always use that comparison, like, oh, your mom used to stay with her little brother, and she used to clean the house, she used to clean the baby, she used to cook for us while we were working. And they expect that from me as well. But it's not the same times anymore.
Right.
I have other responsibilities.
That's a stigma that I see like the older generation of Dominicans having, because I think my mom so much for like kind of breaking that stigma and not letting like my siblings, and I think that. So in my household, there's no such thing as, oh, well, you're the woman, so, or the girl, the young lady, you need to do this, this, and this, you need to clean, cook, and do this. No, it's like, my brother, he also needs to do that. He doesn't get exempt because he's a boy.
So my perspective is a little bit different because my dad, he knows how to cook. He knows how to do everything. And sometimes he knows how to do things even better than me, like even better than my mom. He learned that. And I think it just depends of the mentality. For example, he's a psychologist. So I think sometimes education has a correlation in how you serve at home. And it's like, there's not genders like, oh, you need to do this because you're a man. You need to do this because you're a woman. It just depends on the mentality people have. Because I think men can do both.
Right.
And they definitely can.
Yes. In order to get married, both of you should do the same.
Yeah.
If you're not giving this to me, if you don't know how to cook, why should I be with you?
Right.
I'm sorry, guys. It's feminist.
The feminist in you speaking.
Yes, it's like you need to know how to cook, and I would know how to cook too, because it's like we both need to do the same.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of that, like the whole stigma, ties back into how before men were expected to bring like basically bread to the table, or I feel like, but now it's like, no, I work too. You work. Now let's 50-50. Now I do this, and you also do this too.
Hello.
Immigration has long been one of the most complicated and fast-changing areas of the law. And you're about to meet one filmmaker who turned that struggle to keep her visa status and stay in the country into art. Shannon Ayala has her story.
Sometimes the representation that you see on media, it's like people are coming here and they are facing immigration issues because they don't care, because they want to create chaos here, or they want to use the government for their own profit. Honestly, I don't know anyone in that situation. You know, everyone that I know, it's like battling to be legal, to do the right thing according to the law, and to be able to be here and to live their dreams.
Patricia Comanero knows how immigrating to the U.S. can be a bureaucratic nightmare, but she rewrote the script on her story when she made her thorny visa ordeal the subject of an award-winning film.
It was about my immigration experience here, and that was something that for me was hard to explain.
Back in Brazil, Comanero had racked up a roster of films.
I had my little life, but the pandemic hit really hard.
Things changed when her in-laws died of COVID.
My husband was, of course, very depressed. His sister lived here, so we were invited to come.
Comanero saw a CUNY Film MFA as a way to enhance her film skills and to live here. But that plan fell apart.
We lost housing within 30 days being here. We didn't know anything about getting housing in the US. So then we find out about, well, you gotta have a credit score. We didn't have guarantors. And then we started trying to get a room. And that was super hard too, because people didn't want couples with a dog. I had just started school and I started crying you know, in front of all those American people.
Colmenero sought help from CUNY Citizenship Now, an organization that provides immigration legal assistance.
I was spending 2 days a week there. I would go there and spend the whole afternoon, sometimes the whole night, working together with my lawyers. It was also like a very important thing for my self-esteem. You become very, I don't know, you feel very small. You know, you feel like a bug. You feel like something that, like a cockroach.
The process of getting her status resolved took 8 months, or 2 semesters of school. Inspired, Colmenero recruited her classmates to make a film called You're Invited to Leave. She submitted it to the CUNY Film Festival, where it won Best Documentary.
Just felt very good in the festival because the other documentaries were great. And I was like, whoa, those are my people. And the film, actually, I had just got my status back. So we were celebrating. I was saying, oh my God, now I can study. Now I can do my homework. Now I can exist like a normal person. Now I can focus on my films because I don't have to come to the office 2 days a week and do lawyer stuff and gather documents and, you know, call people in Brazil and get more sponsors and prove more things just to show once again that I can be here.
Shannon Ayala for LATiNAS.
Did you know that one of the most powerful Latinas in business in New York was once a war correspondent in Colombia? Today, she's a leading voice in public relations, using her platform to amplify Latino stories on the global stage. Let's meet Adriana Aristizabal, today's Inspiración Latina.
Me llamo Adriana Aristizabal y soy la presidenta, fundadora y directora ejecutiva de iVoice Communications. Llevo viviendo en la ciudad de Nueva York 21 años, llegué en el 2004. Soy periodista, fui corresponsal de guerra entre el año 1998 y el año 2004. Y ese periodo de Colombia era uno de los países más peligrosos para ejercer el periodismo y la verdad tiene muchísimos enemigos. La guerrilla de las FARC en ese momento sacó una lista negra de periodistas en Colombia y yo estaba ahí. Y me dijeron, mira, tienes que retirarte porque pues, tu vida está en peligro. Entonces busqué ayuda y me ofrecieron una oportunidad para venir a trabajar en el Consulado de Colombia en Nueva York y así fue como me volví neoyorquina. Estuve trabajando en el Consulado de Colombia por 9 años, fui cónsul de Cultura y de Comunicaciones y durante todo ese tiempo tuve la oportunidad de aprender, ¿sí?, de la comunidad hispana en los Estados Unidos. En esa época mi hijo estaba muy pequeño y yo pues tuve un matrimonio que duró muy breve, ya estaba divorciada, así que prácticamente que fui papá y mamá de mi hijo en esa época. Esas responsabilidades y el hecho de saber de que hay una vida que depende de ti no te deja desfallecer. Cuando mi trabajo terminó en el consulado, pues fundé mi agencia de comunicaciones, iVoice Communications, y una de las misiones que tiene mi compañía es apoyar a la comunidad hispana, a la comunidad latina. Y desde ahí pues ha venido surgiendo como una cantidad de experiencias y oportunidades de trabajar con la ciudad de Nueva York, con New York City Tourism and Conventions, lo que es la Oficina de Turismo de Nueva York, donde uno de los sombreros que tengo es portavoz para esa oficina, pero asimismo también para Broadway, con algunos de los musicales que tienen representación latina e hispana en Nueva York y también otros clientes que han venido sumándose como al portafolio de cosas. Hace 2 años la revista Forbes me invitó a Abu Dhabi, a los Emiratos Árabes, a acompañar al grupo de 50 mujeres que se estaban destacando en ese momento en diferentes industrias, etc. Entonces, el tema del liderazgo femenino es supremamente importante. Con todos los cambios que hemos venido experimentando en los Estados Unidos en los últimos meses, yo creo que este es un momento para que las mujeres que somos líderes tengamos más sentido de solidaridad entre nosotras. Y también necesitamos que nosotras como latinas en los Estados Unidos no nos preocupemos tanto por si somos de un país o del otro, de Centroamérica, de Suramérica o latina nacida en Estados Unidos. No, en este país somos uno.
Whether it's Halloween or Dia de los Muertos, this is a time of year many people live for. But what if I told you that there's a place that celebrates spooky season all year long?
If you're looking to have a spooktacularly ghoulish time, look no further than the Haunted House of Hamburgers in Farmingdale, Long Island. From the moment you drive up, you come face to face with a full array of scary creatures, as well as a graveyard with tombstones that reveal the way some fictitious diners and waiters met their ends. Once inside, you might feel like you've entered a haunted house with lots of spooky decor and items on the menu like the zombie burger, tombstone tacos, and poltergeists.
It's like walking from the regular world into Halloween land, and a lot of thought and creation came into this place, and it shows when you walk in. You know, the kids love it. They're a little trepidatious. They think it's a little scary, but we're very kid-friendly. We make them feel at home, and who wouldn't want a little bit of Halloween in the spring, the summer?
It's Halloween here every day, and they also haven't forgotten about Dia de los Muertos either.
So we'll be celebrating the Day of the Dead, probably with a lot of our staff too. We'll probably have an event here on the same day.
Dia de los Muertos, mucho más mejor, mucho más bonito. Pienso que es algo que ya traemos de nuestras culturas pasadas, que es algo que nos atrae, nos gusta, y pues de la misma manera pues nosotros venimos y visitamos el lugar.
And get this, customers are encouraged to dine in costume.
Free drinks and free ice cream if you come in costume.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, we really, really encourage it.
So come if you dare to enjoy this frightfully fun dining experience year-round. Did you know that Halloween originated from Celtic harvest festivals, while Dia de los Muertos, also known as Day of the Dead, is a Mexican tradition celebrated November 1st and 2nd that honors and celebrates deceased loved ones. While both holidays are near each other on the calendar and involve some similar imagery like skulls, Dia de los Muertos is a spiritual holiday about reuniting with the dead, whereas Halloween is a more secular holiday focused on fun. Here are a few places celebrating Dia de los Muertos near you.
That's our show for today. For more information on what you just saw, check out our website at tv.cuny.edu or follow us on social and download the CUNY TV app and watch Latinas 24/7. And make sure you tune in next month. We'll celebrate Puerto Rican Heritage Month with Los Pleneros de la 21, an East Harlem-based nonprofit and Grammy Award-winning ensemble that fosters awareness and appreciation of bomba y plena. That and so much more. Uepa! Until then, bye-bye.